Welcome to Kids Recall. In today's video, we will be going through the 2021 animation fantasy movie, Luca. It's time to recall. Let's get started. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The story begins on a small Italian island. Two men are fishing on their boat, and one of them looks seemingly afraid as he recalls the legends of these waters. However, the other man takes it casually and asks the afraid man to take it easy. Then we see a hand approaching their boat and stealing their things. When one of the men spots it, the Marine begins feeling panicked as he gets trapped in the fishing net but manages to escape. The next day, we see that Luca is a marine being who is looking for some fish. We see some other sea beings as well, and all of them are friendly and passive. We see that they are very careful when it comes to the outside world. In fact, they're afraid to go there. Luca then finds a watch, which is, of course, a strange object for him. He then finds a card and sees terrestrials. They, however, do not see him, and being afraid, Luca gets out of there. Luca is simultaneously scared and curious as to what it is like out of the water. However, since he is a marine being, he's forbidden to go to the surface. Luca then goes to his home. He lives with his parents and his grandmother. They are ordinary marine beings except for Luca's grandmother. She's old and wise. She is special because she has knowledge of the surface as well. Luca asks her from where the boat came, and she tells him that it came from a land of monsters. She also tells him that she has seen it. As Luca grows more curious, his mother gets angry and forbids him to go there as it is dangerous out there on the surface. Luca gets out of his house again and he finds some other objects. He finds a glass and a record player. Luca is then scared by a marine boy who pretends to be a diver. It turns out that the boy has come for the things that fell off the boat last night. He's the one who's stealing things off the boat. The boy becomes a terrestrial monster as soon as he reaches the land. The boy's name is Alberto, and Alberto encourages Luca to venture out of the ocean, showing him that sea monsters turn into humans when they step on the land, but return to their true forms when wet. Luca is shocked to see all the light and the wind out there. He gets scared and rolls back into the water. He's up all night thinking about what happened earlier with him and ends up deciding to go back up. When he's about to go up, he stops and starts feeling scared again, but the other marine beings encourage him to go up, and he does. He sees how he right away transforms into a human child when he gets on the surface of the earth. He finds it difficult to use his legs, so he finds it hard to walk. However, Alberto, the other marine being, teaches him to walk. He shows him his house where he used to live with his father, who's not around much anymore. He then teaches him about gravity, the sun, and other human objects as well. Alberto has a great collection at his home, and he is fascinated to see everything. He then sees a Vespa and immediately dreams of driving it. He expresses the desire of seeing the whole world on a Vespa, so they decide to design their own. After spending the day with Alberto, he gets home and his mother questions about where he's been. He gets nervous when so many questions are thrown his way, but to his good luck, his grandmother intervenes and saves him. The next day, when he goes to land with Alberto, the Vespa is ready, and they decide to take it for a test drive. It, however, does not go as well as they would have liked. The Vespa gets out of control, and Alberto ends up falling into the water. Well, it doesn't matter because he can survive water as well. They have a great time trying the Vespa and enjoy it even when it gets out of control. Luca is having fun with Alberto, and in the meantime, his parents realize that their son is deceiving them, and they also find his human objects. So they start spying on their son without him realizing that he's being spied on. He is busy having fun, and he loves the human life on Earth. They create another Vespa, and this time Alberto asks Luca to ride it. They throw themselves together, falling into the water. They fall from a big height and see the birds flying in the sky very closely, and Luca loves it. Luca seems even more fascinated when it is night. He loves the moon, the stars, and the atmosphere the Earth has when it is nighttime. Luca has never been to a town, so he imagines that the town will be full of Vespas that will take him to the moon as soon as he wakes up. His dreams are shattered as he finds himself among his parents who question him about being in possession of human objects. Since he went to the surface, they call Luca's Uncle Hugo. He's a cave marine being and suffers from heart problems. He has come from the depth of the ocean, and Luca's parents have called him to take Luca with him for the rest of the season. They want their son to be in the deepest place of the ocean because he'll not be able to escape to the surface from there. It does not, however, sit well with Luca, and he escapes with his friend Alberto. Alberto tells him that the only place his parents cannot find him is the human town, and he adds that it's going to be full of Vespas. Dreaming about Vespas yet again, Luca decides to go with Alberto. In the morning, the two swim to the land of the monsters. They swim for a long time, and as they jump out of the water with joy, they transform into their human form with every jump. They get out of the water with the help of a boat, and they have to avoid being seen out there. When they reach the beach, Luca gets scared when he sees so many dead fish that humans are going to eat. Then he sees the town, the buildings, and so many people that he's mesmerized by everything out there. Then Luca yet again sees a painting in which humans are killing sea animals, and Luca almost faints. Then he sees a Vespa. Luca kicks a ball and it hits the Vespa. The owner approaches him. He makes fun of his clothes and his way of speaking. The boy's name is Ercole Visconti, the local bully and 5-time champion of the Porto Rosso Cup, a local children's triathlon. He keeps making fun of them and says that they smell like fish. He then grabs Luca and puts his face in the water. He's about to transform into his marine form, but a girl appears and saves them from the bully. The girl is very kind to them. She introduces herself as Julia, and she tells them that if they take part in the Porto Rosso Cup and win it, they can earn enough money to buy a Vespa. This race takes place every summer, and in the race they have to swim, ride a bike, and eat pasta. Then they ask the girl to team up with them, but they have no idea how to ride a bike. Gradually, Luca starts paddling the bike. Alberto refuses to swim, saying he doesn't know how to swim. This makes Julia doubt her teammates. Luca, however, begs her to help them, saying that his parents are going to send him far away if he goes back, and if he's able to pull off a victory in the race, he'll be free. It's then settled that Luca is going to ride the bike, Alberto is going to eat the pasta, and Julia is going to swim. Now they need money to register for the game. Julia takes the boys to see her dad. He's a fisherman, and the first thing Luca sees is her dad chopping a fish. He knows all about the sea monsters, and Luca again gets scared. Julia's father serves them pasta, and they have no idea how to eat it. So they start eating it with their hands, and it surprises her father. Julia tells her father that the boys are from Geneva, and they are here to participate in the race. Her father, however, says that she cannot take part in the race because they are not rich enough to pay for the registration of the game. It's then decided that Luca and Alberto will help her dad catch more fish, and this will help him make more money, so he'll be able to pay for the registration. Julia then takes the boys to her hiding place in a tree where they are going to sleep. Both Alberto and Luca seem delighted to be there. Luca's parents swim to the shore and look for him and transform into their human forms. Luca and Alberto, on the other hand, become marine beings while they are asleep because it rained during the night. Luckily for them, no one except a cat saw them in their sea monster form. The cat is sitting right in front of them when they wake up and freaks out upon finding themselves in marine form. When they go out fishing, Alberto keeps seeing Massimo, who tells him that he was born with one arm. Their fishing goes successfully, and they now have the money. On the other hand, Luca's parents arrive there and they see so many kids in the town, they're unable to find Luca because they don't know what he looks like in his human form. The three partners, on the other hand, go for the registration, and there they run into Ercole, who is competing despite being 17 years old. He starts to bully the kids. Luca tells Ercole that he looks like a cat, and Ercole gets ashamed as everyone makes fun of him. Ercole gets out of there saying that he's going to destroy them. Luca's parents, on the other hand, start looking for their son, and they come up with a method. They start to put every kid they see in the water to check if it's Luca. On the other hand, the kids finally register, and then start to prepare for the game. Alberto becomes jealous of Luca and Julia's growing friendship. When Luca starts ignoring Alberto's advice and tries changing their plans to go to school instead of traveling the world, he and Alberto quarrel. As Alberto tells Luca that he can't go to school because they're sea monsters, but Luca wants to go to school because Julia has shown him and taught him so many things like traveling the world flying. She teaches him history and the stars. Giulia expands Luca's imagination, who has always been curious and dreamy. She then gives him a book about the universe. Alberto arrives, being angry at Luca because he's learning from Giulia. Alberto is then attacked by Ercole and Luca defends him. On the other hand, Luca's parents recognize him when they are sitting in a street, and Luca is seen riding a bike. They see him, but Luca runs away. Out of anger and jealousy, Alberto intentionally reveals his true form to Giulia. Unwilling to give himself up, Luca feigns surprise at the transformation, screaming "Sea monster!" while pointing at Alberto. Heartbroken and betrayed, Alberto returns to his hiding place, trashing every item, including the drawing of him and Luca on Vespa in anger. Giulia later sloshes a cup full of water into a panicking Luca. Seeing his true identity, she sends him away for his own safety. Luca attempts to reconcile with Alberto and discovers that Alberto's father abruptly abandoned him long ago, making Alberto think he was at fault and should not have friends. When Alberto refuses to cooperate, Luca sets out to win the Vespa on his own, to make things right. After several mishaps, Luca takes the lead in the bicycle race, but is forced to take shelter when it starts to rain. Alberto arrives with an umbrella to help Luca. But when Ercole kicks him away and reveals Alberto as a sea monster, Luca also reveals himself to save Alberto. They flee Ercole, who now intends to kill them and collect bounty money. But Giulia helps them by smashing her bike into Ercole's, injuring herself in the process. When Alberto and Luca see that Giulia is hurt, they right away come forward to help her. Everyone is now gathered there, and they see that they are sea monsters. Massimo, who is the hunter of sea monsters, is also present among these people. But no one hurts them, and they acknowledge that even if they are sea monsters, they still have won the race. They are defended from Ercole and the other fishermen by Massimo, as he reveals that the boys are his friends. He's the one who points out that they have crossed the finish line and won the race. Other disguised sea monsters reveal themselves, including Luca's family. And the townsfolk happily welcome them. When Ercole refuses to accept the changes, his own cronies, Ciccio and Guido, throw him into the fountain. They're fed up with his abuse and insults, so they declare Ercole as an outcast. Luca and Alberto buy a Vespa, but Alberto sells it to get a train ticket for Luca, allowing him to go to school in Genoa with Giulia. Luca's family, Massimo and Alberto, see Luca and Giulia off at the train station, where they all promise to stay in touch. In the end, we see that Luca meets Giulia's mother and attends school, showing off his sea monster appearance and later watching the Apollo 11 moon landing on television with Giulia. Massimo becomes Alberto's adoptive father, and Alberto and Luca's family are able to live in peace. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new movie recaps.